And good morning at 7:04 on this Wednesday, July 31st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody, and welcome here on a Wednesday. The sun is shining. Going to be a wonderful Wednesday. We welcome you to our program. And I want to introduce at this time Bob McDonald with Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet Donaldson, Simple Banking, Simply Better. Bob, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman. Great to hear your voice. Sorry I can't see your face. I got to talk to MJ when I dialed in, so please tell my friend Billy good morning for me.
Oh, we'll have to do that. All right. What's going on?
Oh, not much. We're had just a few things here. I talked the last couple of weeks about the event down on the west side of town, the Signature Palooza, and I want to say congratulations to Sean Smith and for the great idea he had and for the success it was for his business and for Lindsay and Nicole and the folks at Beauty Boutique and our friends at Zaxby's were the presenting sponsor, and we were pleased to be one of the other sponsors. And it was a great turnout, and the CDOT boys were in fine form, and so it was a great event. So I just want to congratulate all those folks who were involved in that, and thank Sean again for giving us the opportunity to participate and support it.
Well, he's a go-getter and got a lot going for him.
Oh, he does. He does indeed. He works hard and he stays at it, and I'm proud of it. I've known Sean over 20 years, and he works hard, and he's very just a great community supporter and leader, and I'm happy and proud for him. And we've got some Fed meetings coming up here soon, Coleman, and there's a lot of anticipation about what the Fed will do here in the second half of the year, and we're starting to see some cooling of inflation, and so their monetary policy is clearly at work and is doing well. Inflation is not where they want to see it, but I don't know that they're going to see it at that 2% level again, given where we've come from in the last 4 or 5 years. I think prices are just going to be a little sticky and will stay higher than what we're accustomed to seeing. So I think they realize that. Employment is still strong, but there's still inflation out there coming. We're seeing it in gas prices and grocery prices, but there is some cooling. Housing remains strong, so I think the expectation is that they'll leave rates alone here when they meet in the coming days. They're probably in their September meeting. There's a lot of talk that they'll probably drop it at least 0.25% at that time, and that will be helpful, Coleman. That will be very helpful.
But probably not until then, right?
Probably not. I mean, who knows? But all the folks that we talk to and folks who we read seem to think that they'll leave them alone here at their upcoming meeting, but probably take a real hard look at lowering rates in September.
Well, we shall wait and see. In the meantime, you can get your loan at Cedarstone. Well,
you can, and we're you hear me say this each Wednesday, but it remains a fact that we are busy. Our loan demand is at the highest it's ever been. Our growth rates in loans are the highest that they've ever been in our 20 years in business, and we're seeing that in all loan categories, Coleman. And so we're thankful for that and delighted to serve. And we're seeing also growth rates in our deposits at a higher rate than we've seen in our 20-year history, and we're very thankful for that because, as you know, we gather deposits in the community and then we loan that money right back out in the community, and so we need both loans and deposits, and we're happy with our growth really the last 18 months, Coleman.
Well, that's good to know, and glad things are rocking along well. We would be remiss if we didn't mention that Simply Better free checking account, and you've got a good tool right there.
Well, we do, and we'll wrap up our time together by talking about that as we do each Wednesday. Our Simply Free checking account is a cornerstone of our bank. We think it's the most important account, and it's for everyone. And we encourage your folks who don't bank with us now to come by and visit, talk to one of our great people. And it's free in every way. If you want to do your banking with paper, we offer you checks, and you can come in the bank and see our great folks and do your transaction that way. Or if you're more technologically inclined, you can do your banking either on the phone or on the internet or on your telephone. You can make your deposit by your phone. So there's really no product in banking that Cedarstone that we cannot offer, whether it's a checking account or a loan or any other type of loan or deposit. So we invite you. We say to the folks who bank with us, who listen, we say thank you. And for the folks who don't bank with us yet, we welcome them in to see us.
All right. Well, thanks so much for being with us. We'll hopefully do it again next Wednesday, and have a good one.
Thank you, Coleman. Have a great week.
All right. Bob McDonald, he is President and Chief Executive Officer, Cedarstone Bank, Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Donaldson. Simple banking, simply better. 10 minutes after the hour. And I want to welcome Corey Johns, who is my guest this morning. Corey, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. Thanks for having me.
Got the phone turned off now. Always good to hear from Bob, and he does a great job calling in or coming in person. But it's good to have you. It's been a while. You're, of course, with JECDB, the Joint Economic and Community Development Board.
Nailed it.
JECDB for short. And good to see you and to have you with us this morning.
It's great to be here. It has been a while. Apologies for that. We've been a little star-crossed, but I'm glad we were able to figure our schedule out. And it's always a pleasure.
What's the latest? I mean, we are still a growing area. We still people are here. Our school enrollment, I haven't got numbers, but and probably won't for a day or two. But they look like they're going to be up. You keep up with all of that. We are a growing area, but that's the name of the game.
Yeah, yes, sir. Well, I think what Bob was just saying there, that they're seeing historic levels of activity. With local bank, local lender, even in these somewhat challenged times with where rates are at, they're still seeing a lot of activity. I think that's one of those metrics I don't track as on an ongoing basis. But I was just reflecting on his comments there and thinking about the sign that meant for just how hot we are as a community and how blessed we are.
All of Middle Tennessee seems to be growing, and is there one area that is really faster than the other? Or are we all growing at about the same rate?
Well, it's we're actually in some meetings recently. We're looking at where who's the fastest growing, who's the second fastest growing, and there's a few different ways to look at that, right? We've got some communities around that have a little bit higher population than we do. So are you looking at growth rate, or are you looking at raw numbers of growth? But Wilson County's right there, certainly in growth rate. Depending on kind of what time frame you look at, we're first, second, third fastest growing county in the state.
So depending on the category, the way you're looking at it, somewhere between first, second, and third.
Yes,
right
sir.
Here.
Yes, sir. Okay. And of course, that's a blessing, because that's an external validation that says that folks find our community to be a desirable place to live, work, play, and worship, and that they want to join part of our culture, quality of life here. But there are also challenges that come with that. We have to figure those challenges out. We have to be proactive and thoughtful, forward facing. But really, blessed to have this opportunity to sort of decide what do we want our community to be as we move forward, and how do we action.
Yeah, and I guess probably Rutherford, Williamson, maybe Sumner counties are our three biggest competitors. Perhaps we rank favorably there. But what is there? Do we have something unique? Do we have a sales point that you use when you're competing with those three?
Sure. I mean, a variety, right? So the reality is that, we're all part of this Middle Tennessee region, right? Which is growing and thriving. And so what was just with some of my peers from some of those communities, and we have great relationships. We work together regionally really well as a team. But a lot of times, once a recruitment project, business industry decides that they want to expand, relocate, once they settle on Middle Tennessee, then it's a question of where they want to be, right? So the term we use in the economic development space is it's cooperation. because we play well together. But a lot of times, when we get down to the home stretch, they are choosing between Wilson County and one of our peer communities around the area region or somewhere in the state. So there's a lot of different factors that come into play there. We are among the least taxed community in the Middle Tennessee region. Mayor Hutto actually was just sharing some data points on that recently with his State of the County presentation. In this instance, it was with the Mount Juliet Chamber Luncheon. So he was addressing that. We're the second least burdened state, county in the Middle Tennessee region amongst our peer community. Of course, traffic and congestion is with a growing area. That's always something that's relevant. And while I know our friends and neighbors who are maybe making their way into a neighboring community right now might not feel this way, but there are other communities that it's a little bit more challenged coming in from there, and those transportation and logistics impact things as well.
And what about education? Do we rate well there?
Absolutely. Again, as Mayor Hutto's often to say, the number one reason that individuals choose to move to Wilson County is the quality of our school system. And I got two boys that are getting ready to start back at Lakeview Elementary here in a few days, and this with Director Luttrell and the team, and under the leadership of the school board, just the tremendous job that they and their forebears have done to continue to ensure quality coming out of our school system. It's one of the strongest assets that we have, not only for our attractiveness and desirability, but for preparing our future workforce.
Well, we could go on, and maybe we will, but after we take a break.
Yes, sir.
Corey Johns with JCDB, my guest, and this is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot, write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still running slow over here on 24 eastbound, trying to get past the football stadium here between Ellington Parkway and the Sullivan Evans Bridge on 24 going eastbound. Slow going because they're doing some road work. They're right near the Sullivan Evans Bridge. Traffic's picking up already 24 westbound coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, trying to get up through the Antioch area. Hey, whether you need a new roof repair, or roof inspection, Independent Roofing Specialist has you covered. Check out their website, irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Coleman Walker inviting you to join Judge Barry Tatum and me for live election coverage starting when the polls close at 7 p.m. on August 1st. It's brought to you by A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, Burdine Supply, Designer Carpets, Partlow Funeral Chapel, Howell & Meadows Insurance, and Steve Mall Plumbing. Join us for live election coverage August 1st starting at 7 p.m. on WANT FM 98.9 and WCOR AM 1490.
A 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath brick ranch home with a great midtown location will sell Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. at an absolute auction from A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction. Located at 1614 Shady Circle in Lebanon, this home features a living room, kitchen, dining room combination area, 3 bedrooms, a partially finished basement, laundry room, and a 2-car garage. Mowers, tools, furniture, and household items will also sell. For details, call 615-444-0909 or visit agandjohnson.com.
Are you facing a challenging time that you need help navigating? Well, look no further than your local law firm of Kane & Crowell. At the offices of Kane & Crowell, we understand the complexities that come with family law matters. Whether you're going through a divorce, working through child custody or support matters, or needing a will or trust drafted to protect your family assets for future generations. Kane & Crowell, 615-784-4800. Your local leaders in family law matters.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Corey Johns is my guest this morning. What is your title with JCDB?
Sure, I'm the Economic Development Director for the Joint Economic and Community Development Office for Wilson County.
Well, Director for short, and I knew that, although I wasn't sure about the official title. But of course, G.C. Hickson was there prior to you for a number of years, and I think the two of you knew each other. Maybe he even recommended you. I'm thinking he did.
I don't have any insight into that, but yeah, it's GC and I had known each other just through the economic development space. Of course, I was with the State Department of Economic Community Development for several years prior to that, but we'd known each other for many years.
Well, Corey, I know you've got a couple of things you want to tell us about, and some of it might be a little bit of breaking news this morning.
Sure. Well, I think since I was here last, we've had some exciting project announcements. At first, I believe one that we talked about a little bit in the past, but unfortunately, I was out of town with business travel and was unable to attend yesterday. We'll cut the ribbon on New Basis LLC, which was actually our first recruitment win since I stepped into this role. That they cut the ribbon yesterday with the Lebanon Wilson County Chamber out at their facility, which is behind the pilot on 231. So that's a manufacturer. They make underground utilities cabinets, and so that was a good recruitment win for us. And then more recently, actually back both in March, we announced two projects. Schneider Electric, which is just fantastic, global company, but just really quality employer, manufacturer of electronic components. They chose Wilson County, and we'll be adding 355 new high quality manufacturing jobs down off Couchville Pike on the south end of the county, and then Bridgetown Natural Foods, which it's a really cool story. If folks are familiar with granola, they may know a high quality product called Bare Naked Granola. Well, that's Kelly Clock's recipe, and Kelly had developed that, and she and her husband Dan, they launched that company, sold it, and the folks that they sold it to came back after some time and said, "Hey, we're having a little bit of difficulty producing your granola at scale with the fidelity to the quality standards that we want to have. Could you come back in and help us?" And through that, Dan realized that there was a latent demand for quality granola base. So you think about granola bar, some other finished product. Well, it all starts as just granola base, right? So today, Bridgetown Natural Foods, the granola they produce is the base for 5 of the top 8 selling granola products in the country. And so they are the company is founded where they've lived in Portland, Oregon. So this is their first expansion, and they chose Wilson County. And so just a great company, great people, great story. We're excited to add them and look forward to their continued success as they're ramping up. So those are some really exciting all manufacturers, but in different sectors, working on economic diversification. Making sure we've got a good balance in our local economy and employment base. But great projects we're excited to win and continue to move forward.
How about as far as the workforce here? That's something if we bring in new industry, new manufacturing, whatever, where especially somebody that's going to be hiring a number of employees, with the workforce has got to be considered. And where are we there?
Sure. Workforce is always one of the more important conversations. In fact, I have a conversation with another prospect we're working with this afternoon around those very issues, right? The reality is, as you look across the country, especially in the hotter, more desirable areas, it's a challenge. Last month we were at 2.3% unemployment. That was just two ticks off of our historic low here in Wilson County. The story is very similar across our region, across the state. The other aspect of that, Coleman, is we have very high labor participation rate here in Wilson County, right? It could be a little bit higher, and some of those folks are on the sidelines for specific reasons. Transportation, childcare. Maybe they have a relative that needs someone to be with them, and there's something specific a lot of times that's kind of keeping them out of the workforce. So we're looking at how we can address those issues more specifically to move that latent talent off the sidelines back in our workforce.
Well, if the numbers aren't there, that could be a deterrent to somebody coming here, and you probably have to deal with that.
It can, but like I said, most of the communities we're competing with on high quality projects are going to be in a very similar circumstance, right? So the reality is, and I know there's a lot of perception of, especially kind of going through COVID and sort of what happened with some of that. There's this kind of perception of like, well, folks just don't want to work anymore. It's not really that so much. There just aren't enough people. And when we're seeing a lot of, especially newer projects, heavy investments in robotics and automation, because they realize on the front end that they may not be able to find the workforce. So they're going to have to automate every piece that they can. Of course, that means that they spend more on equipment, which contributes to our local tax base.
Well, I hope they don't figure out a way to replace me in that regard.
Radio host, absolutely not. I don't know. This artificial intelligence is an interesting thing, but I don't think they can replicate what you do ever.
You got anything else you want to really focus on?
Well, just to continue with that workforce piece, we went through a process with our partners at the Lebanon Wilson County Chamber of transferring the Wilson Works program over to the Joint Economic Development Office last year. In March, we brought on our new manager for that role, Mr. Jeremy Tudor. He's got his bearings now, and we've been convening the transitional council to help shape the future of that program. We'll be having a meeting of a few details are still being worked out, but on August the 19th. What
prompted that? And it sounds like you're very happy with it. What brought that about?
Sure. Well, I think it's just these workforce challenges. These are not new, and I think the message that comes, because most of our employment growth is going to come from our existing industry. I know that the headlines are grabbed by the new projects that are coming in to join our community, but reality is most of your high quality employment growth is going to come from the existing industry you already have, and so it's important that we serve those folks really, really first and best. And so I think that was a program alignment piece to make sure that we were doing what we can to help support our local industry as they continue to grow and compete and succeed and thrive, and that we can focus on that piece along with our recruitment efforts to continue to bring more high quality jobs to the area.
Corey, how closely do you work with the local chambers of commerce?
Very close. Yeah. Very close. We're we operate under different EIN numbers, but really we could not be closer in terms of the partnership that we have. And that's one great thing about Wilson County is just the partnership and the collegiality that this community has when it comes together, and folks really willing to roll up their sleeves, do the right thing, and move forward for the betterment of the community in the big picture.
How important, from where you sit, is the election this fall, and especially the presidential election?
Sure.
Without getting too political here.
Right. Well, obviously there are going to be policy implications to that. Candidly, there are a few projects that we've been working, some really quality projects that my sense at this point is that they're sort of just hanging tight to see what happens, and what that means for their business, right? So, it matters who governs, and there will be policy decisions. I think at one level, you may see more investments in this or more expansion in this sector as opposed to that sector, depending on who comes out of the at least the federal races on top, and how that affects things like monetary policy, what you were speaking with Bob about earlier. Mm-hmm. It absolutely matters. But I think the silver lining there is that our community is in a great place where really, regardless what happens, I think we're poised to continue to succeed, to thrive, and to have a really bright future and the opportunity to sort of chart that.
Well, one other thing I'm just wondering here, and this is just kind of off top of the head or whatever, but of course our legislature meets every January and goes till April or May, and there's legislation, no doubt, that you favor and some that you probably don't think as much of. And how active are you during legislative time?
So like many groups, we're part of like the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce, Tennessee Economic Developers Association, and those folks down there, they'll be monitoring legislation that comes through and identify is this business friendly, is it not, is it what are the other aspects, ramifications. Of course, sometimes there are things that happen that you don't foresee how it might impact you, but then you have to deal with that. So I think like a lot of folks, whether it's Bankers Association for your guest that was on earlier, there are groups that'll sort of monitor that and help us really get the Cliff's Notes version to understand what's going on with that. But certainly I think anything that continues to make us even more competitive, especially with regard to our peers in the Southeast, especially there are certain states that we tend to find ourselves competing with over and over and over. So sometimes that's tax policy elements, sometimes it's regulatory things, aspects along those lines. So we I think like many others, we exercise our rights to let our voice be heard when it matters. Right.
And believe it or not, it's just about 7:30. Our time is up.
Time flies.
I want to thank you for your visit today, and wish you well as you continue to hit up the JCDB.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
That is part one of Coleman and Company. We've got more, and hope you'll keep it right here, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, get that regular oil change, $39.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There is a couple of accidents out here getting some attention. This road work has really caught everybody off guard this morning. 24 eastbound at the Solon Evans Bridge. That's had traffic slow over there by the football stadium. On 24 going eastbound. Again, that's running really slow down through there now. On 65 southbound right at Trinity Lane as that traffic volume increases up through Franklin, Brentwood. There was a stalled car up against a wall a few minutes ago. On 65 north at Concord Road there in Brentwood. Hey, whether you need a new roof repair, or roof inspection, independent roofing specialists, they've got you covered. Check out irsroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Your 401k is likely one of your most important assets, but it's only one part of a comprehensive retirement strategy. Edward Jones can help you understand how your retirement assets fit into your entire retirement picture, so you can work toward meeting your unique retirement goals. Contact me, John Langford, your Lebanon Edward Jones financial advisor at 1424 West Bedore Parkway. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is in a new location, 1746 West Main in Lebanon, across from Sports Village. Gregory Dental Group offers cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs.
No insurance? No problem. Call about the discount plan. Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322. A 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath brick ranch home with a great midtown location will sell Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. at an absolute auction from A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction. Located at 1614 Shady Circle in Lebanon, this home features a living room, kitchen, dining room combination area, 3 bedrooms, a partially finished basement, laundry room, and a 2-car garage. Mowers, tools, furniture, and household items will also sell. For details, call 615-444-0909 or visit agandjohnson.com.
Simple banking, simply better. Since 2004, that's been our motto at Cedarstone Bank. I'm Bob McDonald. We know that financial decisions can sometimes be complicated, but that doesn't mean solutions have to be. Whether you're buying a new home, renovating your existing home, or buying a car, or maybe you're a business that needs to purchase equipment for the building you operate from, we have all the technology that will allow you to do your banking online or on the telephone, or you can come in one of our beautiful branches and see our great people. With locations in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, and Nashville, Cedarstone Bank. Simple banking, simply better.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
We'll have mostly sunny skies today with a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms. It'll be hot with highs in the mid-90s, heat index readings over 105. Clear tonight, lows in the mid-70s. Then sunny and hot on Thursday again, highs in the mid-90s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your Severe View forecast, I'm Drew Richards.
We continue here. Welcome to part 2 of Coleman and Company. It is a Wednesday, and we want to welcome John Langford to talk about Edward Jones and what he does every day. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
See you.
Well, I'm just glad I didn't have to get a boat and paddle to get here after all the rain we've had the last week or so.
Yeah, we've had an abundance of rain, but you don't have to worry about that. You're where it's dry.
Thank goodness. And I got to say, my grass is the greenest it's ever been in July, ever. So, and speaking about green, we're here to talk about money today.
Money.
And one of the things that we wanted to talk about, I've had quite a few phone calls lately about the election. Mm-hmm. And, well, John, what is that going to do about the stock market? American Funds and Capital Group have done research, and since 1960, during election years for presidential elections, the stock market actually goes up 2% more than average. And there's a couple of reasons for that. And one of the big reasons is because, as one of the things that they say about Congress, well, Congress is a do-nothing Congress. Well, guess what? They really don't do anything on election years. And part of the reason why is because during an election, what they're doing is they don't want to give a side, whether that be Republican or Democrat, an advantage. And they also don't want to pass anything that may be too controversial during an election year. Mm-hmm. So what do? Not a whole lot of anything. And because of that, that means there's no new regulations on companies. So that means capitalism works like capitalism should. You have good earnings, you make good products, you have good P&Ls, and because of that, the stock market goes up. The other thing behind that, usually when a new administration comes in, whether Republican or Democrat, they have pet industries or pet projects that they funnel money to that pushes one industry up or down based on how the policy goes. There's no new pet projects coming in on election years, so it is truly capitalism at its finest, and that's why the S&P has averaged around 10% return, S&P 500, over the last 100 years. But during presidential election years, it's almost 11.8% growth during those years. So whenever I have somebody that calls in and they say, well, they have a complaint or they're worried about this, I can almost tell which 24-hour news station they're listening to. Whether it be MSNBC or CNN or Fox News or Newsmax. And the crazy thing is, a lot of times I tell them, when was the last time you went outside for a walk? and the reason behind that is because Warren Buffett, who's been one of our greatest investors in the history of the market, has said that the markets are very efficient in taking money from the inpatient and giving it to the patient. You don't make money based on a day trade, but you can make a lot based upon good financial goals, good financial decisions, and maybe being just a little bit more patient on there. And if we can do that, then over the long term, guess what we'll do? We'll have a really, really good retirement.
Yeah.
Because of that.
And that's the name of the game.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And, that is one of the things I remember in 2008, before I was a financial advisor, I was a client of Edward Jones. And 2008, 2009, not really a fun year to be an investor.
Right.
And I looked at my account, and my account was down just like everybody else's was. And I called my financial advisor, and I think I said, what in the HE double hockey sticks is going on? And he said, John, you're 27 years old. How much money can you put in today, and you'll thank me later?
Huh.
And I put that money in based upon my financial advisor's advice. And within about 2 years, the money had doubled because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good learning lesson for me back when I was just an investor. Now, being on the other side of the table, there's a reason why my bald spot gets a little bigger. It's because I worry about everybody else's finances as well. And the good thing is they can pass that worry on to me.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I do as a financial advisor, is being able to help them through those times. So that way the average investor only gets about 5% return while the market gets 10. And the big reason why that difference is because when the times get rough, they get out. And then they miss the ride back up. instead of just being more patient, riding the roller coaster that is the stock market. 39 times there's been a correction. 39 times it's come back better and higher than it ever has before. And right now, Dow Jones is over 40,000. S&P 500, over 5,400. Those are numbers that they've never hit ever before. But if you listen to the 24-hour news networks, you don't hear a whole lot about that.
Well, you don't have to listen to that. Just listen to you each Wednesday here. Well, if folks want to know more, we might remind everybody your location here in Lebanon, 1424 West Padua Parkway, Suite C, and that phone number 615-443-2090. And we're about out of time. Good to have you with us. You'll be in and out, but somebody's there at the office in regular hours, right?
Coleman, you can call Lisa there 8 to 4:30 every day. And if you don't have anything going on Friday night, Dad Bods is going to be at 10 Lakes Brewery too. So we'd love to see you out there.
All right. See you next Wednesday. Thank you very much. All right, that's John Langford with Edward Jones, and that takes us to about 20 and a half before the hour. And I have three ladies who are my guests for Part 2 of Coleman and Company this morning, and I'm going to start with Katie Dillon, who is right here to my right. Katie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Coleman.
Nice to see you again. It's been a while.
Great seeing you. I was just reminiscing on our days together, and it's been about 14 years since I've been here. So,
but I've seen you around in about a time or two. But I don't think you've been here in a long time. That's right.
I haven't, so thank you for having us.
Well, you've got two people here this morning, a mother and daughter duo, Nikki Gann and Bella. Nikki Green and Bella Green. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And tell us more, Katie.
Well, Mr. Coleman, MJ, thank you for having us here today.
Coleman. It's okay.
Sorry about that. All right. We are here to talk about the Celebrating Lovely pageant. This is the 14th year that this pageant has been held at the Wilson County, Tennessee State Fair. So we are really excited about having the opportunity to come and talk about this pageant, share some changes that we will have this year with it being our 14th year, so we can go into a little detail on that. And you just let me know when that's a good time, because I know we probably
if you don't mind, I didn't realize this had been going on for 14 years, but tell us what Celebrating Lovely pageant is really all about, because I don't think we've ever done a program on it, so there might be some people who need to have a little information here.
Sure. So the Celebrating Lovely pageant is a special needs beauty pageant, and we focus on individuals with mild to severe disabilities, and this pageant is focused on individuals that are age 5 to adults, even into a senior category. And this gives the opportunity for men and women to shine on stage and be able to dress up, do hair and makeup, and have the opportunity to get out on the stage like I had the opportunity when I was fairest of the fair, which is how I founded this pageant. When I was fairest of the fair, I had a young lady with a disability that she approached me and said she wanted to be a queen just like me. And that's when I had the idea to start this pageant. So it has been 14 years. It's been really great. There's a lot of laughing that happens on stage, a lot of tears. It is just a very, very special moment.
To have an idea is one thing. To implement it really is something else. So congratulations and accolades for this, for seeing something and seeing it through. But why? No one had come up with this idea prior to you.
No, sir. This was the first one that was definitely in Wilson County. And since then, I've done some research, and there are a few sprinkled throughout Tennessee, but our pageant is open to the whole state of Tennessee. But I do want it to be known that I have made it these 14 years with individuals in the community. And that's why I love that Nikki Green and Bella Green are here today, because they have supported me for the past 10 years, and they have provided hair and makeup services for these contestants on behalf of the Skin Lab. So they have supported me for 10 of those years, along with a lot of other individuals in this community that I'm so grateful for.
Well, since this is our first time really to feature this, as far as I know, and I'm pretty sure it is, how difficult was it for you to get this going? You had to convince the powers that be at Wilson County Promotions and the fair that this is something we should do. Was that a big selling project for you?
Well, I know listeners cannot see the smile on my face right now, because I will say it wasn't an easy task, but it has been the most rewarding. And the fair board has been nothing shy of supportive. They've been amazing in helping me get this started. And again, the community has been there for us to help us get this started as well. And I always like to reminisce on when we first started. We were actually in the woods in Fiddler's Grove at the fairgrounds. And it wasn't the best setup, but it was a place to start. And now we've grown to being at the expo stage, and we have air conditioning and lights and music, and it's the big deal now. So
okay, we got to take a break here in about a minute. Tell us when this is going to be and just the nuts and bolts of it quickly.
So this pageant is Friday, August 16th at the Wilson County Fair.
That's the first Friday,
It is the first Friday, and it will take place at 7:30 on the expo stage.
How long does it usually last?
Usually a couple of hours, because we will do all categories, kindergarten or age 5 up to the senior category. We'll complete all those categories in one night.
Well, Nikki and Bella, we'll let you talk, but we got to take a break first. And we'll find out more from this mother-daughter duo working with Katie Dillon. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by our friends at Absolute Kubota. Write it off the lot, write it off your taxes. Visit Absolute Kubota. Take advantage of the Section 179 tax deduction when you buy new Kubota construction equipment, tractors, RTVs, hay tools, or turf products. Absolute Kubota. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still a couple of accidents out here right now. It's still a little bit heavy trying to get in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County on 24 westbound up through the Antioch area, passing Bell Road, Haywood Lane. It's crowded now down through Millersville in that section of Sumner County on 65 going southbound as traffic increases also there in Hendersonville on Vietnam Vents westbound towards Conference Drive. Prince's Hot Chicken has new items on the menu. They also offer DoorDash, Uber Eats delivery. PrincesHotChicken.com. Go check out that new menu. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Coleman Walker inviting you to join Judge Barry Tatum and me for live election coverage starting when the polls close at 7 p.m. on August 1st. It's brought to you by A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction, Burdine Supply, Designer Carpets, Partlow Funeral Chapel, Howell & Meadows Insurance, and Steve Mall Plumbing. Join us for live election coverage August 1st starting at 7 p.m. on WANT FM 98.9 and WCOR AM 1490.
A 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath brick ranch home with a great midtown location will sell Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. at an absolute auction from A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction. Located at 1614 Shady Circle in Lebanon, this home features a living room, kitchen, dining room combination area, 3 bedrooms, a partially finished basement, laundry room, and a 2-car garage. Mowers, tools, furniture, and household items will also sell. For details, call 615-444-0909 or visit agandjohnson.com.
Andy Ogles is a desperate grandstander who's been running for office for over 20 years. He's out of touch and out of ideas. Don't be fooled by his desperate false attacks against Courtney Johnston. He's attacking her because he knows she's winning. Courtney Johnston is endorsed by Fraternal Order of Police lodges across Middle Tennessee. Courtney will fight to secure the border and crack down on criminals.
I'm Courtney Johnston, and here's why I'm running for Congress. I want to secure our border, keep families safe, shrink government, and put more money back in your pocket. On Metro Council, I fought tax hikes and strengthened our police. In Congress, I'll take on the career politicians and the radical left and put your family first. I won't go to D.C. to chase headlines for me. I'll go to Washington to fight for you. I'm Courtney Johnston, candidate for Congress, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Courtney for Congress.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. We continue here on this Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us. And here on part 2, my 3 guests are Katie Dillon, Nikki Green, and Bella Green. And we are talking about the Celebrating Lovely pageant, the pageant that's been going for, will this be year 14? Or
this is year 14.
You've had it for 13 years, and you started this, Katie Dillon.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, want to talk to Nikki and Bella here. Nikki, how did you get involved in this?
That's a great question, Coleman. So I've known Katie now for right at 14 years. My name is Nikki, of course, and I own the Skin Lab. It is a medical aesthetic spa here in Lebanon. We take care of things like professional skincare, brow work, lash work, injectables, and things of that nature. And you can imagine professional makeup services falls into that category as well. So over the years, we've been a part of different pageant circuits, but approximately 14, or actually right at 10 years ago for us, I was just reading in the newspaper one day that there was a pageant going on and it was going to be special needs affiliated. And I just thought, I bet you they want to shine and sparkle on stage just like anybody else would. And so I called the telephone number. Back in those days, you'd pick up the phone and call the number in the newspaper, and I did. And I said, I would love to do the hair and the makeup for the pageant contestants. And the young lady that I spoke with on the phone said, well, we're pretty new and we don't really have the funds allocated for that yet, but we are so thankful that you called. And I said, oh, no. I just want to do it. Will you let us donate this? And she said, oh my gosh, yes. And so we did. We, just like Katie mentioned, we kind of showed up on a hot and steamy day. We were a little bit in the woods in Fiddler's Grove. It might not have been our most ideal scenario, but and in fact, I can remember meeting MJ that day as well. She was there for that pageant. Yeah. And so all that to be said, it's really kind of history in the making at this point, but we've been donating time and services to the special needs pageant with Celebrating Lovely now for 10 years. And it just brings a smile really to our face each time. And we really enjoy being able to do that.
Well, approximately how many people are we talking about?
Every year the participation numbers grow. I would say sometimes we're in the 25 range. Other times we can be in upwards of 45, and it really just kind of depends on the year. And I know I can remember one year in years past, we had a certain number of participants on the books logged, and all of a sudden a bus showed up, and then several just came rolling out of that bus, from another town. So it really is kind of up to every year, and we're always so thankful that it grows each year. And in fact, we've been implementing some new things this year, kind of breathing new life into it, if you will. And we really anticipate having a much larger roster even this year, and we're happy about it.
All right. Well, let's talk to Bella here for a little bit. You're involved in this as well, right?
I am, yes, and I could not be more proud to say so.
You've been doing this all 10 years?
I have. So I'm actually on my 9th year. My mom, she has always been with me. I've done pageants my whole life, and so that was always something I was drawn to. And I remember my first 2 years that she brought me along to do makeup, I remember being like, man, do I really got to be here? Like, I wasn't super excited about it, but I wasn't young enough I was too young to appreciate it at the time. But with every year, I can say I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. It is my favorite part of the fair. There's no comparison like seeing the joy on those little girls' faces.
Yeah. Well, what do you do otherwise?
So I'm also a medical esthetician at the Skin Lab. I offer professional hair and makeup services as well. So I've always dedicated my time towards that.
So the two of you are...
We really are a duo.
Now, I guess word has gotten out about this, and you probably don't need us to remind a bunch of people of what you're going to do. Still, you'd like people to know, and I think this has been, for the most part, a pretty well-kept secret, because I did not know you did this. Now, I don't read every page of that fair catalog, I'll confess that. I should have known, but I didn't. But I'm glad that we can call attention to what you've done. And I mean, Katie, this is just you, I think, coming up with a unique idea, seeing a need, and coming through with it. Your mother and daddy, I'm sure, are very happy with what you've been able to do here.
Well, a lot of that was taught to me by my parents. So I had very, very good role models, Jeff and Lisa Dixon, that encouraged me along the way to follow my dreams, because just like with anything, you get discouraged. So I've had people that have, like Nikki, Isabella, they both have been so supportive. The Wilson County Fair has been so supportive. I can't say enough great things about our sponsors. ProMobile sponsors this pageant every year since we've started this. Shannon Speck Electric is a sponsor this year that will allow us to provide gift baskets to our contestants. Moss's Florist, the Moss's Flower Shop, they are donating the flowers this year for our contestants, which, Coleman, that may sound so minor that it's just flowers, but sometimes this may be the only flowers that these individuals receive, and it is so very special. And I also want to make mention to Gigi's Jewelry here in town. She was able to sponsor our sashes this year. So when you talk about support within the community, the support is definitely there. And of course, Nikki being here, talked about her in the Skin Lab supporting this pageant.
The two of you, and if you have other help, you devote, it'd be several hours of the makeup and what you do, right?
Yes, that's true.
Coleman, you've never seen a better duo doing hair and makeup. They help me too. I need help in that category.
How long does this take?
Professionally speaking, if you're looking at a tried and true hair and makeup, you would really be looking at something like a full hour or upwards of an hour for any participant. But what we try to do is really what's considered an express option, because we're seeing so many participants throughout that event. And because we're able to work in tandem, we can actually be doing hair and makeup on the same participant at the same time. So one in the front and one in the back. And we're really able to kind of zip them through the line, if you will. And actually something really great that we've implemented this year is something new for our participants. We also now have something called the rolling pageant closet. If you think about it, the special needs community really can be riddled or even bogged down with a lot of medical necessities, and these things really do take the finance and the budget, So with all that being said, we never wanted there to be any reason why someone couldn't participate in this pageant. We want it to be open to every participant in the state of Tennessee, especially in Wilson County here in our community locally. And so we know that dresses can be expensive. And we don't want anybody to come and not feel like they are just as special as the next person on stage. So we've actually taken donation this year from multiple people within our community. And we have a brand new rolling closet of pageant dresses that each of these participants can slip right into on stage. We actually partnered with a local seamstress, Miss Pat McCoy, and she has inserted what's known as a corset into the back of each of our donated dresses. And it really expands the back of the dress so that now a multitude of sizing can happen for really all of those participants. And then, of course, we have them dry cleaned and sanitized at the end so that for the next season, they're ready to go again. So we are still taking donation for formal wear, whether that be pageant dress or prom dress affiliated, and they can be dropped off at the Skin Lab in our private lobby at any point.
Okay, now, as far as contestants go, you already said that any Wilson County especially, but anybody in Tennessee is eligible, I believe you said.
Yes, sir, that is correct. Although it is originally this started as the Wilson County Fair. This happened before the Tennessee State Fair was combined with the Wilson County Fair. So here within the past couple of years, we are now allowing the opportunity for this pageant to be open to individuals throughout the state. So that varies differently from some of the other pageants that are held at the fair, but having that opportunity, especially with it being the state fair, we felt that it was a good idea to expand that throughout Tennessee. All of that information can be found in the Wilson County Tennessee State Fair Bible, per se, the fair catalog. I know those are circulating at this point, but on page 47 will be the Celebrating Lovely pageant, but I also serve on the boards for the other pageants, so I feel like I need to do a little plug there. So there's other pageants for other participants. Page 47 can you can find all that information.
All right. So really, we rather than a phone number or email or whatever, we'll just direct you to page 47 of the Fair Catalog for if you want more information about what we've been talking about this morning.
Page 47, Facebook, or we have a new website that is celebratinglovely.com.
We got a couple of minutes. I'm wondering, Bella, is anything that you'd like to say that we haven't talked about here? You got to be the younger one in the group.
I am, yes. I'm only 18 years old, but I started in this young, and I couldn't be more grateful for it. I feel like it kind of goes without saying, but I encourage everyone that is listening this morning, if you have the opportunity to be there, we would be so happy to have you. It's really something that you don't want to miss. The look on these girls' faces, even the gentlemen's, they are so happy. They're so thrilled to be there. This is, as much as it's my favorite time of the year, I can guarantee you it's one of theirs. They really are so happy to be there, and it's wonderful to watch. It warms your heart, and everyone tears up. You just can't even help yourself.
That's so true.
It's amazing.
And this will actually be on what stage? Where will it be?
It will be on the expo stage in the new expo stage, the Farm Bureau Expo Center.
Right.
And Coleman, while I have just a couple seconds to talk, I do want to say that registration is open online, but we will be taking walk-in contestants. So if you do not meet that registration deadline, that's online through the Tennessee State Fair, Wilson County State Fair website. We will take walk-in registrations as well. And if you wouldn't mind arriving around 6:30, at least an hour before the pageant, so that you can get those services and take advantage of those free hair and makeup services.
Okay. Well, Nikki, I guess we say really a great appreciation to you and Bella for what you do.
Absolutely.
And, of course, Katie, for coming up with the idea and how many people have benefited and will continue to benefit from what you do.
Thank you, Coleman.
And we thank you all for being with us this
We're
morning.
so appreciative of the time. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That is it for a Wednesday. Hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Thursday edition. And until tomorrow, I wish you a wonderful day.